Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we have our preview coming right up of the West Final between the BC Lions and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. As BC, of course, won last week against Calgary, eliminating them. Saskatchewan had won the West and had the bye to the West Final. And now we have it right up here. So we're going to get right into it, but there's a few things I want to mention firstly. And so one of the first things I do want to mention is just I didn't have a graphic made up, but firstly, rest in peace. Rest in peace to... Oh, yeah, I was about to say, I didn't tell Rick I was going to do this. He wasn't doing this, I promise. Rest in peace to Marshawn Neeland, player for the Dallas Cowboys. He was just 24 years old.
Oh, yes.
He had passed away today. Yeah, just absolutely terrible news coming out from the States. So thoughts and prayers with his family, as that's just truly awful. So starting with that, again, Rick wasn't doing that. He didn't know I was going to mention that.
No, I thought you were talking about a different graphic.
No. Which graphic did you think I was talking about?
You never know with you.
You never know with me. Yeah, I got graphics for everything. That's true. Speaking of which, if you guys haven't already, one thing that we've been pushing a lot, and I'm going to plug it near the start of the video, is we have a Discord server. So make sure you guys join that up. Link in the description below to the Discord, as Rick's got everything. He posts everything there. All the stats, all the depth charts, everything you could possibly need for game day. It's all there. And so big CFL chat going, as well as all other sports, honestly. It's just a great sports Discord to chat in. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys join up. Link in the description below. And if you haven't, leave a like on the video, share it around, and subscribe. But Rick, West Final.
Before we go into the West Final, I am going to mention...
Oh, Rick, your mic's glitching out. Hold on a second. We'll get him back. I cannot hear you. Here, Rick, just quickly leave the thing.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now. We're good.
Okay.
Lovely.
So what I was going to say was...
Yep.
Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock, for those people who are not able to watch the Yates Cup on Saturday because people like me are going to the Ticat East Final game. And I'm sorry I'm not missing an East Final for a Yates Cup. We will be live streaming over on the Hamilton Sports Central the Yates Cup between Queens and Laurier, 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon.
Yes, sir. And actually, if you missed our video on the East Final, firstly, watch it, because why haven't you? And secondly, we're looking at doing more college football streams in the future, whether this is some U Sports coming up, and then as well in the CFL offseason, we'll look at streaming some college football, some NFL, all sorts of stuff, just some fun live streams. We love interacting with you guys, and kind of engaging as well with our American viewers, because we do have a lot of American viewers that are checking out the wonderful game we got north of the 49th parallel. So, Rick, shall we get into the injury reports? Because we usually start with that. Last video we forgot to like the 30-minute mark. We should start where we usually start. What's the injury status of the two teams playing?
So, we're gonna start with the heated offense of the BC Lions. Deshaun Allen, offensive line arm out. Woody Apelon, linebacker knee, questionable. James Butler, running back ankle, questionable. Again, this goes to show why James Butler only got 5 yards last week, or whatever it was last week, because he's still battling an injury. Jermaine Jackson, wide receiver, wrist injury, available. Adam Kunar, linebacker arm out. Tomazi Lalui, defensive line elbow out. TJ Lee, DB thigh available. Seven McGee, wide receiver ankle available. Justin McInnes, wide receiver ankle limited all week. He's available. Isaiah Messam, linebacker, knee, limited, full, available. Marcus Moore, defensive line, elbow, available. Gary Peters, DB, knee, limited, full, available. And Maxime Royer, linebacker, hip, out.
Hmm.
Going over to the dominating defensive side, because BC's the powerhouse offense, we have the dominating defensive side. Ajo, wide receiver, ankle, questionable. Mario Anderson, running back, knee, out. Samuel Emelis, wide receiver, load management, available. Jackson Ford, DB, knee, available. Zach Fry, offensive line, knee, available. Philip Gagne, offensive line, head, available. Keyshawn Johnson, wide receiver, knee, questionable. Brett Lothar, kicker, back, available. Deontay Myers, wide receiver, ankle, available. Roland Milligan Jr., DB, foot, knee, available. Sean Ray, defensive line, neck, out. CJ Rivas, DB, load management, full, available. Joe Robicelli, wide receiver, knee, available. Mike Rose, defensive line, load management, available. Marcus Sales, DB, ankle, available. Tommy Stevens, quarterback, knee, available. Tevion Tate, offensive line, shoulder, available. And Nick Webb, available.
Hmm. So the vast majority of guys are going to be in this game. That's if there's anything that it's good news, is that we're going to, for the most part, be seeing both of these teams at their best. Which, Rick, shall we begin the process that we do, going through the depth
process
charts,
of elimination of the breakdowns,
position by position, going through it? Are you ready to go for that? Because we got a lot.
Yeah, I'm just looking for. I have so many things to. I'm just looking for the. You can go ahead and start. Oh, here we go. So we are going to start with the quarterbacks. We have Nathan Rourke against Trevor Harris.
Nathan Rourke against Trevor Harris. Now, one thing I want to mention right away, when it comes to a depth perspective, in the sense of, in terms of resiliency, in regards of quarterbacks getting injured, Saskatchewan is way better equipped, in the sense of, if both starting quarterbacks go down, that favors the Riders. I think that's an easy thing to say right off the bat. But we are going to compare the starters. So if we're looking at Nathan Rourke and Trevor Harris. So I'm just going to quickly get their stats pulled up here.
While you read that, I'm just going to read the little thing that Marshall Ferguson wrote while you pull that up.
Yep.
Both Nathan Rourke and Trevor Harris both went 11-5 in 16 games. Each team completed over 70% of their passes, with Harris a slight edge at 73.4%. Both also understand exactly what it is to lead them to victory in the game of magnitude. Here's the thing. Rourke has thrown twice as many 300-yard games, 12 to Harris's 6, 10 more explosive passes, completions, 40 to Harris's 30, 7 more touchdowns, and roughly 700 additional passing yards, not to mention his dangerous legs.
Yeah.
I was just reading that while you were getting whatever you needed.
Now, a few things here. Firstly, I find it funny when you go to the CFL stats page. You know what conclusion you come to right away?
Which stat page? Because there's two of them.
Just the standard CFL stat page. Like if you search Nathan Rourke CFL and Trevor Harris CFL, page.
Okay.
The first conclusion you come to is, man, Trevor Harris has played here for a while. You know what I mean? Like that's the first conclusion that you come to. Trevor Harris he had thrown 4,549 passing yards, with 348 completions, 24 touchdowns for 11 interceptions. If we're looking on Nathan Rourke's side of things, 31 touchdowns for 16 interceptions, 5,290 passing yards, and 352 completions for an average of 10.6. Average for Trevor Harris was 9.6, which actually is one of his better seasons, but still lower than Nathan Rourke's this year. Nathan Rourke has been incredible, and the other thing here is, and this is where Nathan Rourke is such a dual threat, and where Trevor Harris is just really not, is Nathan Rourke's rushing yards. He's rushed a lot more than he has in prior seasons. He recorded his most rushing yards this season for 564. He got 10 rushing touchdowns, and his longest rush was 70 yards. Whereas Trevor Harris, he has 53 rushing yards total. Nathan Rourke got that on just one. So the QB game, I think BC has the edge here. I don't think Trevor Harris is bad. Like I don't think that he's not capable of coming in at a big points. His stats aren't bad. It's just not quite what Nathan Rourke is showing right now. And Nathan Rourke, we're talking about a guy who's nominated for the MOP. There's a reason that Nathan Rourke was nominated for the MOP for the West, and Trevor Harris was not. And it was just that in Nathan Rourke, in around the same amount of games. I say around because Nathan's played 18, Trevor's only played 17. In around the same amount of games, Nathan Rourke has just produced a lot more. And so I would give personally Nathan Rourke the edge in the QB matchup. What do you think?
So just two minor things to point out between the two. Nathan Rourke has a 3.2 interception percentage. Trevor Harris has a 2.3. When it comes to touchdown interception ratio, Rourke is 1.94, whereas Harris is 2.18.
I see. So, all in all, I'm going to say BC has the edge in the QB department. What would you say? Saskatchewan, BC, or toss-up?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but again, I will say a thing to keep in mind here. Again, when it comes to backups and actual depth throughout the QB position, that's where Saskatchewan is better equipped. But all in all, I'd say that Rourke is the guy here. Now, when we're looking at running backs here, the matchup here is between AJ Ouellette and James Butler. Two very, very different styles of running backs. As James Butler is very much a speed back, relies a lot on his juking capabilities. AJ Ouellette is very much kind of a Brady Oliveira style kind of power back. And that's where AJ Ouellette has been able to be a lot more effective this year than I think he has in prior years. As I think it's fair to say it's taken him a little bit of time to find his stride in Saskatchewan. Is that fair to say?
For the first year, yeah. But, I mean, if you're comparing these two quarterbacks...
Running backs?
All right. Oh, yeah, sorry. Running backs? I know people are going to say James Butler has the edge and everything because, he has more yards per carry and everything. But at the same time...
I mean, not by much. Only by 0.4.
No, but I'm just saying, if you look at an AJ Ouellette versus James Butler, and James Butler's not 100%, James Butler ain't going to get you nothing.
Yeah, that's true. AJ Ouellette, even at not 100%, is going to get you a lot more, assuming he still plays. I say assuming he still plays because he's gotten hurt quite a bit. There's a reason that this year is really the first year he's played kind of a complete season. And I say a complete season, he played 17 games, but that's because he was pulled from the 18th one, just because, again, they didn't for load management. But every year before that, he hasn't played it fully because of injury. He's got 8 touchdowns this year. James Butler has 11. 1,213 rushing yards for James Butler, 1,222 for AJ Ouellette. So that's nothing in the sense of like that's a difference of 8 yards. So that's a complete non-factor. Longest carry for James Butler was 45 yards. For Ouellette, it was 47. I'm not gonna lie. For me, this is a toss-up. Like just statistically, they're completely down the line. And I think what will be a bigger factor in who has more success will be the performance of the offensive lines that we will get to. So I'm calling toss-up. What do you think?
I'm calling Saskatchewan because, again, AJ Ouellette is not 100, or sorry, James Butler is not 100%.
Is he not?
You saw that last week when they played Calgary. The guy only had 5 yards. Your run game is not going to do well at 5 yards. You might as well not even dress James Butler and just have Nathan Rourke run every time.
Yeah. Now, this is where this is going to get a little interesting because at this point now, we're going to move on to the offensive line. And I'm assuming, do you want me to kind of take the lead on this? Because
because you have all the offensive line stats.
Well, and you know that I pay a little bit more attention to it as someone who used to play O-line. I have a lot of care in the offensive line. We are looking at from a statistic, from a stats standpoint, we are looking at the 2 best offensive lines in the league. Did you know that, Rick? When it comes to numbers. So BC finished first with only 20 sacks given up.
So, question. Who finished third?
Montreal, 26.
Fuck off. Get out of
Second
here.
was Saskatchewan, also with 26.
Okay, so Hamilton has to be fourth then.
Hamilton is fourth. That is correct, with 27.
Okay, that's all that matters. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Again, to be fair, though, keep in mind, if you just gave up 2 less sacks, you would have been second. So it's within a pretty small realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, the drop-off from Saskatchewan to BC is significant. It's a 6-sack difference. So BC clearly, definitively has that edge. Now, the one thing here as well is in terms of sack yards lost, BC also is ahead of Saskatchewan. They only gave up 135. Saskatchewan gave up 165. So that's another factor to go in. Again, there was also a decent portion of time where a guy like Yoshi Hardrick was not in the lineup. So fair enough. But when it comes to O-lines, they had performed. BC's had edged out Saskatchewan's just a little bit. If we're looking at linemen that have just had an incredible year, if we're starting with Saskatchewan, Brammer's been very solid. Washington's been okay. Collins has been decent. Furland has still been very, very good. And Yoshi Hardrick has done very well to the point where he was nominated for O-lineman. I believe he was nominated for O-lineman of the year. Is that correct? For the West?
Sure.
Can we check on that? I wanna be sure.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember exactly where are the nominated? There we go. Yeah, so that was Jamarcus Hardrick that had been nominated for that. Now, another guy that has done very well, who I actually thought might get nominated, is Broxton, the left tackle for the BC Lions, as he had done very, 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 very well with them. Gerald Broxton, number 69, 6'3", 230 pounds, and he had just been an absolute tank. For the Lions in that O-line. And he's really, really developed well. And I think is a good reason why edge rushers have had a hard time against BC at times. Just getting contained. It's really allowed room for someone like Nathan Rourke to be able to escape outside the pocket. So if you see Nathan Rourke escaping outside that pocket around the edge, it's usually because a guy like Gerald Broxton is really holding up his block well. Um, to be honest, from everything, like if we're looking at other pieces for the Lions O line, Una has done decent. Woodruff has been very good. Michael Couture, I'm personally a fan of. Schluger had done well out at right tackle. In general, I think BC gets a extremely slight edge. And when I say extremely light, I'm almost tempted to call it a toss-up. But with a 6 sack difference, it's enough for me to be able to give the edge to BC. Is I think the BC Lions are a bigger factor as well in the success of a guy like James Butler, in the sense of we've seen James Butler kind of not in recent years have quite what we remember from him back in Hamilton. But then this year we saw some of it, and I think it's because his O-line in front of him improved. Nathan Rourke has done a lot more running this year. I think that's a mixture of two things. Firstly, the mentorship of Vernon Adams from last year and in prior years. But then secondly, also, he's had more opportunity to rush. His O-line had held up those blocks, and holes had opened up where if he felt he couldn't find anything with his receivers, he could go on a bit of a run. He had over 500 rushing yards. You don't get that from a quarterback with a terrible O-line. Usually not, at least. So for me, I'm going to give the slight edge to the Lions here, but it's very, very slight. On the right given night, Saskatchewan could absolutely outperform them. So, Rick, do you want to take the lead on the receivers?
Sure. So, quick question. Are we doing this based off of Emilus and Keon Schaefer-Baker being back, or without them?
I mean, they're healthy, are they not?
Yeah. I'm just saying because most of the season... Okay, so I'm getting...
Yeah, I would say assuming everyone's healthy, that's what we're doing this based off of, unless we know they're not playing.
So if we look for Saskatchewan, MLS is available, Myers is available, Johnson's questionable, Robicelli is available. Nothing about Baines Jr. or Keon Schaefer-Baker, so I'm assuming that they are playing. So you have leading the way for BC, Keon Hatcher, who led the league and by a significant amount of points. We're going to say 253 yards over Kenny Lawler. And then behind Kenny Lawler, you have Justin McInnes, BC's two-headed monster. So if you aren't guarding one, the other one's going to be open. Just after them, you have Aiden Eberhardt with 863.
Yeah, I'd say he's had a career year. He really has dialed up his performance.
I was going to say who has, I would say within the top 15 receivers, leads an average of 19.2 yards per catch.
Oh, yeah.
After him for BC would be Berryhill and Javon Katoy. If you look at the Saskatchewan side of things, within the top 10, you have Keyshawn Johnson, who honestly came out of nowhere this year.
Yeah.
With John Schaefer-Baker and MLS out for most of the season. He's fourth.
Well, you know what it was? It was a great example of a guy who wouldn't normally have gotten a chance because of circumstances, got a chance, and then really, like, it's one of those things where this is why, like, even in something like wrestling, guys are tempted to play injured, because if you don't, it gives the opportunity for someone to snag that spot. And that was something that Keyshawn Johnson had done. He had gotten this chance to really get something going that he hadn't really done before. He hadn't really kind of showcased what he has this year. And he was given the opportunity, and he made sure to seize the moment. And so, like, that reminds me a lot of how, at least over here in Winnipeg, how a guy like Ontario Wilson became who he was, in the sense of he was not, when the Bombers first brought him into the lineup, It's because we had guys sitting on an injury list. It wasn't because we thought, wow, let's give this kid a try. We gave this kid a try because of injuries. So as much as like I hate saying
Wasn't
that injuries can bring you
wasn't
good things, but occasionally stuff happens.
wasn't he like your guys' fourth wide receiver at the time?
He was like our sixth. Like he wasn't.
Oh yeah,
He wasn't even in our
that's right
starting
because
four. Because again, you had to
that's
have at least two guys injured before he went in.
yeah, because you guys would have had Lawler, Dembski, Schoen, and Brendan O'Leary Orange at the time.
Lawler and Schoen had both gotten injured in like the first 3 weeks of the season that year,
No, I'm just
and that
saying
was
because you
what
said
gave
six, so I was just trying to
Wilson.
picture of who the
Yeah,
people were above him.
yeah, no, but I can tell you right now that it was Schoen and Lawler that were injured. So
So after Keyshawn Johnson, you go down a bit of the list. And you find Dante Myers. Here's another one that, you know, maybe he may have gotten some look, but probably wouldn't have had a season like he had.
yeah,
Uh, then it's gonna take a little bit while to get down to the list. You have Emelis, who played 7 games. Still got a little bit of taste in there. 588 yards. Robicelli, I can guarantee you, no one outside of Saskatchewan knew who Robicelli was before the beginning of the year.
yeah. And actually, someone who had been really praising Robustelli, and I will say, fair enough, he kind of called it on Robustelli having a bit of a coming out party and getting and showing what he was capable of. Darren Bombing of Bonfire Sports, he called it.
Oh,
I got to give
I
credit where credit is due because I had my doubts, but he was right on that.
there's actually someone else that I was going to mention. I
I
don't
think it was
know.
Walby who mentioned it as well, Chris Walby.
I was actually going to say the bomber, or sorry, not the bomber, the rider legend man himself, Coach Phil, because I mean he would have
Yes.
known. So that would have been my guess of who would have thought he would have had. Also Tommy
Coach
Neal.
Phil's a very
He
knowledgeable guy. Fair enough. Shout
Tommy
out to
Neal, who
Coach
came
Phil.
out.
If you haven't already, go subscribe to Coach Phil. He's great. He's just fantastic.
Tommy Neal, who got very little playing time in Toronto, and then he comes over and signs with Saskatchewan um, for what he signed, and he had 535 yards. So altogether, this isn't even including Keon Schaefer Baker, and we know what he's like.
Yeah. Where do you go with this, Rick?
Now, are we basing this off of the receiver group or what they can do with the quarterback? Because that makes a difference.
I think we gotta go just receiver group as factoring in the QB isn't really that fair.
Because here's the thing, because depending on which quarterback is playing, one team would have the edge over the other depending on who is throwing the ball. So if Rourke wasn't playing, obviously Harris would have more of a slight thing than Mazzoli would throwing the ball to the receivers. If you're just saying receivers themselves, you could say it's a toss-up, or you could say it's BC. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Are we gonna go with toss up?
I'm honestly going to go a toss-up.
I'm gonna go with a toss up as well.
Even though
Now,
even though BC has the most offensive team in the
yeah,
league,
Saskatchewan has done very, very much, has done a lot
Saskatchewan's
with
also the
what they
top
have.
defensive team in the league too.
Now, the next thing I want to move towards the kickers as well, special teams as a whole, to be honest, with the kickers kind of being the first aspect of that. Now, the interesting thing here that we have to first take a look into is that if you're Saskatchewan, you don't want this to come down to a kicking showdown. And I think that's the one thing where I can definitively say where Saskatchewan would really be in serious trouble is if this, not that there's nothing else that can affect them, But I don't think there's any, like, in the sense of if this goes down to a QB duel, Rourke probably wins that, but Harris can. If this goes down to a kicking duel, I think Saskatchewan is screwed. And that's where I don't see Lothar being able to do what Sean White has done in BC. As much as Lothar has hit some deeper ones occasionally, he's just missed so many smaller kicks and really key important kicks, whereas Sean White's been absolutely money on those. And so, I mean, what do you think about the kicking duel? Because in my opinion, it's a clear BC advantage over Saskatchewan.
I mean, we all know what Lothar's like this year. Lothar is not.
And it's not that Lothar hasn't had a great career and he hasn't done much. It's just this year is just not his year. He has not been the same this year. Not saying they should resort to any other kicker because they've dabbled with that and that hasn't gone well either.
I mean, can't really say that hasn't because I mean Hughes has done well.
He's done okay. Again, but he hasn't gotten enough of a test compared to what we're expecting from Lothar. But maybe in the future, maybe in follow-up seasons, we might see a bigger role. But would you agree that Sean White's has the advantage here? BC's got that. That is something that favors the Lions.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Now the next part that we're going to get into, and this is interesting. So, Seven McGee, do we know if he's good or?
Seven McGee is playing last time I seen it.
Okay. And Mario Alford's healthy, right? Pretty sure he is. I don't think he was one of.
Yeah,
but anyways,
he's not on,
I think I would
he's not
clearly
listed on
I think
the injury report.
I think I can definitively say that that Mario Alford is the better returner here. Seven McGee's had some good stuff. But Mario Alford's been in this league for a good amount of time. He's really established himself as a dangerous returner. And I mean, if we're looking at returning yards, firstly, kickoff return. Saskatchewan had the highest average in the league at 24.89 yards on average, with one kickoff return touchdown that went 99 yards. If we look at BC was third, 22.99. No touchdowns from kickoff return. Longest of 82 yards. Keep in mind, this is kickoff return, not all returns. If we go to the punt return team, this is where it gets very, very interesting. Because Saskatchewan is still ahead of BC, but Saskatchewan, instead of being first, is now sixth with 10.9. No punt return touchdowns. The Lions are dead last with just 9.21. However, they do have one punt return touchdown. So, the Lions, out of all the categories I listed, only lead the Riders in one. And I think I just have more faith in Mario Alford as a returner. I just think he's a better, more established returner. What do you think?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Shall we get to the defense?
We shall.
Now, Rick, let's start with the defensive line. And this is where it's a little interesting because I think we have two rivaling scenarios here in the sense of if we're looking at the individual best defensive linemen, I think we're looking at Matthew Betts on the BC Lions. If we are looking at the best unit, though, which to be fair is what we're judging, I think Saskatchewan might have the edge here. I want to know what you think, though.
So
I'm just gonna pull up the numbers here
because I'm seeing more of the
interesting
defensive line for Saskatchewan than I am of BC. Because BC, you have Betts. Outside of Betts,
Well,
really.
you know what I will say. So, firstly, when it comes to defensive lines, BC is first in the league for the amount of sacks that they've gotten. They've gotten 45 sacks. Saskatchewan is third. However, they're with 43. So, in my opinion, a 2 sack difference is very, very minimal. You know what I mean?
But the thing
However,
is,
Saskatchewan
but
has the most sack yards lost that they've tackled guys the deepest back by a large margin. As the second most is Montreal with 326. Saskatchewan's at 353, and BC's down at 296. So we're talking about an almost a 50-yard difference in terms of how far they actually caught them behind the line of scrimmage. So that is against a passing offense. For the CFL defensive rankings against a rushing defense, Saskatchewan has actually done the best in the league. They have only given up an average of 76 rushing yards per game, which is the lowest in the league. Whereas if you look at the BC Lions, they're actually are third last, with only Toronto below them and then Hamilton, which is dead last. BC's given up an average of 105.3 rushing yards per game. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders defensive line has dealt very, very well with the run game. I see that being a problem for James Butler. This Saskatchewan Roughriders defensive line, though doesn't have quite as many sacks as BC, they're only 2 sacks behind. And they've tackled guys deeper in the backfield. So to me, even though Matthew Betts himself, I see as a very, very big threat, the entire Rider defensive line in general is such a big threat. Because, if we're looking at just Matthew Betts this year, Matthew Betts has 15 sacks this year. So keep that in mind. Of the 45 that BC has, Matthew Betts has a third of those. He has 33%. Is just him. You take him out, they're at 30. Which I'm not saying you should take him out, but I'm just saying is that it shows how heavily they rely on just one of the 4 D linemen there. He punches above his weight. What do you think? I want to know your thoughts, Rick.
Well, I was going to explain it, but you pretty much just explained everything. I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
If you take Betts out of the defense, they have no one else. Whereas if you
for
look
D-line.
at the whole D-line for Saskatchewan, it's more of a multiple person unit than just one person.
Yeah, because that's a problem. If you're Saskatchewan and you're going into the passing game, what's to stop you? Let's say you're running AJ Ouellette at running back, but then you got Runge or Bertrand Hudon running at fullback. What's to stop you from having your 5-man front? You have AJ Ouellette kind of hover around in the pocket. He'll swing out into your flats in case you don't have it. Kind of be that little hook route. And then you have Runge, your fullback, double team with your outside tackle. Basically, you could double team Matthew Betts, and then the rest of your line takes him on one at a time. And you've shut Matthew Betts out of the equation. You know what I mean? I think it's a lot more manageable because you got to defend against one guy. So I think we got to give Saskatchewan the edge there. Would we agree on that?
Yes, we would.
Now, that then brings us to the linebacker core. And this is the really interesting part. As on the BC Lions, for the linebackers, they got Woods, Micah Awe, and Williams. For the Riders, they got Jameer Thurman, Brooks Jr., and of course, our friend of the channel, AJ Allen. I see a similar situation here, actually, Rick, with Micah Alway being the really big, being probably the best linebacker of everyone we just mentioned. However, I think Saskatchewan's talent is better distributed amongst their linebackers, amongst your Sam, amongst your Will, amongst your Mike. I think those three linebackers really are able to collectively pull a bigger weight than just Micah Alway alone. Is that
That's fair.
it sounds like we're in agreement on that.
The only thing is, like, hold on, let me pull up their defensive line. Or sorry, their depth chart. So I mean, BC only has Mike Alway. Just being honest.
Yeah. I mean
Whereas if
Justin
you look,
Williams is decent, but he's not quite.
but I mean, Saskatchewan also has Jameer Thurman and AJ Allen too.
Yeah.
So I would still give the edge to not like a big edge, but like a slight edge to BC or Saskatchewan's defense.
Saskatchewan. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think I'm on the same boat. And then that brings us to the secondary. Robert Carter Jr. is great, but
So is
this
Campbell
rider
for
and that
Saskatchewan.
and that's the problem. Is that because I mean this depth chart? Keep in mind this is missing Roland Milligan Jr. Then of course you
Yes.
got Lacombo, you got Campbell, you got Fields. This secondary has been a problem for teams. It's been a problem for Winnipeg. Like, and so, like, if I'm just taking a look here, I just want to look at a few different stats. Um, if we're looking at interceptions, Saskatchewan is second in the league. They have 24 interceptions. BC has 19. So a good lead for the Riders in that regard. In the completion percentage, in the sense of you want to have the lowest completion percentage against, so if it's like 60%, that means that offenses only 60% of the time are completing the pass. So you want as low as a percentage as possible. Saskatchewan has the third best in the league with 68.8. The only two teams that are behind are Montreal and Winnipeg in first place. BC is right in the middle. They are fifth, 69.4. I think they've been a lot better recently, but Rick, I think you and I, we in those reviews, there was a good couple weeks where they were just awful, where their secondary couldn't knock a pass down. They couldn't stop it if it was a goddamn beach ball. They
True.
just they could not stop it. They just kept giving up yards and giving up yards and giving up yards. They've been a lot better since then. I'll give them a lot of credit. But my thing is that if they fall apart the way they did in the midpoint of the season, then the Lions are losing this game. That will lose them this game if they play that way. I don't suspect they will, but it's not something that we can rule out of hand. It's something that is worth discussing. What do
So
you?
that's why I was more of a um what you call it? A person that think. Um like that wanted this West versus like top of the league versus bottom in the West, because then it can really prove who's more dominant, the offense or the defense.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this comes down to. Is the very recent incredible success of the BC Lions offense and that shutdown Rider defense. So,
So,
do we have a verdict?
for secondary, I am going Saskatchewan.
I'm going Saskatchewan as well. But now we have to look at the collective verdict, Rick.
Okay, wait.
Oh, wait, yeah, there's a few things that
Before
come
we
before
go
that.
to our collective verdicts, and then the pick'ems and everything, we got to go through all of our extra fun jazz.
Yes.
So we're gonna start with strengths for every team in the division finals. So BC is first down prosperity, generally speaking. Sizzling specials. I'm gonna assume special teams. That running back of theirs. I mean, more of Nathan Rourke than it is James Butler. For Saskatchewan Roughriders, it's also that running back of theirs, which is
Yes.
AJ Olentz. Elite defense, and the good health of the receiver group. The next one we have 4 division final lessons from the regular season. We're going to skip that one. And riders at full power are dangerous. Not going to lie. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't count out Trevor Harris in a shootout.
Yeah.
Never thought I would on that. Next, we have the 3 X factors that could impact the Western final. Can the Riders get to Nathan Rourke? Question number 1. James Butler's presence, if he's going to get just 5 regular yards like last week, or is he going to have a good game start to finish? And the kicking battle. Is one kicker going to show up, or is it just going to be 2 kickers, or is it just Sean White?
I was about to say, best case scenario in regards to the kicking duel is that it looks relatively even and that you generally try to win in the touchdown game for Saskatchewan and that you don't have this resort to a kicking duel.
Let's just say I would hate to be Brett Lothar if he costs Saskatchewan this game this weekend.
Yeah, that's why I'm not gonna lie. If I was Saskatchewan, I would have made a move for Eliram Haralahu. I know it would have costed something, but I think Toronto would have been willing to make it, and I think Saskatchewan would have been okay making it because of the frustrations a lot of the fan base was having with Haralahu, and because there was a lot of fans being like, you know what, this is our year, we gotta buy in. Like, you know what, all cards are on the table, we gotta go for it. So. However, the Riders believe that they can get it done with Lothar, and I can't blame them for not wanting to get rid of him in the sense of he's been there for a while. He's been with the Riders through the thick of it, and he has in prior seasons really put up some good performances. And so I think the Riders on one hand would feel good being able to kind of give him a bit of a thank you in the form of a Grey Cup ring. But you have to get there first. So. We will have to see.
The next one is 3 storylines to watch in the West Final.
Yep.
New look out West. For 6 years, every path to the Grey Cup ran through Winnipeg. That streak is officially over. Sorry, Carter.
Well,
quarterback and legacy. 2 quarterbacks, 2 legacies, 1 defining game. And the other one is coaching contrasts in the cold.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, Saskatchewan, did Saskatchewan make it to the Final Four last year?
I don't know if they did. Hold on a second. 2024 Grey Cup.
Or was it BC that did? One of them did, because I know Winnipeg was the other team.
The 100 that was Saskatchewan, because BC played Saskatchewan in the West semifinal. Saskatchewan won that, and then they lost to Winnipeg in the West final. And then
go ahead.
Or actually, is that correct? Am I looking at this correct? Why am I seeing Ottawa in here? Was
because
Ottawa in the? Yeah,
Ottawa
that's right.
lost in the
Ottawa
first
was in the
round.
playoffs last year because Hamilton was terrible. I forgot about that. Sorry, I mean that no
Right.
offense, but you're great. You're
That's
great now. You're great now though. So who gives a shit?
So next we have 4 under the radar players to watch in the division finals. For Saskatchewan, it's Habakaku Baldiando.
Oh boy.
Apologize if I butcher that name. He
Oh
is a
boy.
defensive end for Saskatchewan. And Xander Horvat, the backup running back for
Yeah.
BC.
Now, shall we get to the pickums? The old Dutch
Um,
pickums, that is.
did you want me to continue or no?
Or do you have more that you're going to talk about first? I'll let you
Yeah,
finish though.
there's like 6 more small ones, and that was it.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, go for it then.
Okay. 4 matchups that will decide who makes the moves. What's this? Okay. So 4 matchups that will decide who moves on in the division finals. So we have uh Nathan Rourke's legs versus Saskatchewan's defense. The Saskatchewan rushing attack versus the Lions front 7. The next one is 6 stats that may loom large in the defense finals. For this one, it's 31.1 points for BC versus 22.7 points against for Saskatchewan. 31 minutes and 47 seconds of time of possession for Saskatchewan. 88 combined regular season sacks. That's just the final 4 matchups. Let's just see if there's anything. Previous 4 meetings in the West Final has BC 3, Saskatchewan 1. 2 teams have never met in a single game Western Final in Saskatchewan. Most recent was 2007. Saskatchewan won 26-17. Last time BC's played in the Western Final was in 2023. Saskatchewan is actually hosting the first Western Final since 2019, and its 4th since 1976. The team has advanced to the game for the 2nd straight season. Lions are 11-27.289 as the visiting team. Roughriders are 24-18-1, 0.570 at home. And since 1972, the host Western Final host team is 31-20. As far as the season this year, it's been 2-1 for Saskatchewan. Don't forget we have Buck Pierce 1-0, Corey Mace 1-1. We have Nathan Rourke 2-1 in the playoffs, and Trevor Harris 4-5. Then we have 3 defensive plays that summarize. Oh, no, we're not talking about BC's win. And now we can go to the old Dutch pick'ems.
The old Dutch pickums. So is it all right if I go through them in a quick second here?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, for the pickums on the English side, we got 5 people making their picks. Jamie and I, Pat Steinberg, Matt Cause, Christina Costable, and Costable, as well as Vicky Hall. All of them, with the exception of Pat Steinberg, selected the Saskatchewan Roughriders to win and head to the 112th Grey Cup in Winnipeg. For the French picks, I'm not even going to try to pronounce all the names because I know I'll butcher them. 3 of them, of the 4, selected Saskatchewan, and Mark Legault, the only one to select the BC Lions. And so there's a lot of people jumping on the Saskatchewan train, and I can't blame them. Saskatchewan's had a very, very good season. For the most part, they've been consistent. The only thing is there have been little signs of cracks in games leading up to playoffs where they won, but they didn't win by as much as I thought they would. So
You know an interesting stat that I wish I could find is if you compare the teams who have the bye and the teams that win in the semis what their records are. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
I'm not sure.
are you? What was the Shinetti, Dave Naylor, friggin'
Let me
TSN
actually
thing?
ask
Is it
ChatGPT see if it knows. For the
is it
CFL.
more rust than rust? Because if you think about it, Saskatchewan won 37-19, week 4. They won 33-27 by a touchdown, week 7. But then BC won 27-21, most likely by 2 field goals. So I'm
The ChatGPT does not know as it wasn't able to find a comprehensive data set to do the calculation.
1 second. There we go. My mic is back.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes, about
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
it didn't figure it out. Yeah, no.
Okay. Um, so if Nathan Rourke can play like he did last week against Saskatchewan, BC will win. If Saskatchewan's defense rises to the occasion and they play against Rourke where Rourke doesn't put up numbers like he did last week, Saskatchewan will win. Let me go pull something up if you want to. Actually, why am I going there when I can go here?
Okay, Rick. I just saw something hilarious, and I
Okay.
need to show you. It's off topic, but the uh Greg on Sports on Twitter put out a tweet as the Red Blacks put this with their
Yeah,
mat on
their
the
press
floor,
conference.
and so he said, "Quit putting the logos on the floor." To which Troy Westwood said, "Don't step on them, homie." To which he said, "This might help them from getting it stepped on in Ottawa." And he puts the end zone pylons on it, saying that Ottawa never finds the end zone. Oh, that's incredible. I'm sorry. That's hilarious. I needed to share that. Sorry.
I mean, unless you're like Hamilton, where we put like a oh, what is it? You know, like um, those movie, what the heck, at movie theaters where they have like those long. They used to have them. I don't know if they have them now. Like
Are
movie
you talking
theaters
about
where
the
they
things
have.
that they use for like lines at like concessions and shit? Like the
Yeah,
black
but it was like
straps
it
that
was
like
like
clips in?
no, something like that. But it used to be like poles, like straight lines, not like the
Okay.
clip-in ones.
Oh,
But
like
yeah,
you're
that's
talking
what
the
they
old
kind.
school ones.
Yeah, that's what we use in Hamilton to put around our logo in the middle of the floor.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because in a lot of places, it's just kind of it's just an untold rule.
Oh,
Just don't
buddy,
step
if
on it.
you stepped on a logo in a stadium,
Oh
you're
no,
getting eaten alive.
I remember the Winnipeg Jets usually whenever someone would step on the logo, they'd be like, hey, get off it. Until one time Brock Lesnar was in the dressing room and stepped on it, and everyone was just kind of looking around like, you want to tell him? Do you want to go tell Brock Lesnar to not step on the logo?
It's like
we're gonna let it pass with Brock Lesnar. You know.
it's like I'll give you $100 to go stomp on that logo right now.
I give you $100 to go approach Brock Lesnar and tell him he did something wrong and see how it goes before he takes you to Suplex City. Anyways,
Um,
I think
so
it's time for us to make our picks.
are you going or you want me to go?
Do you want me to go first? I'm okay either way.
I'll
I
let
know
you
who
go
I'm
first.
taking. The
You're not
for
gonna like
years.
my pick though.
That's fine. That's fine. There's a lot of things you do I don't like, Rick. Okay.
Thanks.
The BC Lions for years have been wanting Grey Cup. They have been very close. They have always had a problem. That problem has a name. It's called the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That problem is out of the picture. And so I think BC really has a shot now. And I think that these teams are so evenly matched that it comes down to a kicking duel. And I think Saskatchewan loses the kicking duel. So I'm going with the BC Lions to win the West Final. I also have my biases against the Riders, fair enough. But I've seen cracks in that roster. I think it's very possible that they could win. I'm saying my money is going to go on the Lions for that reason. And I think it would be really interesting if we ended up with a BC Hamilton final, as it really would be after the Winnipeg reign of terror is over, reign of terror, whatever you want to call it, regardless. The two teams that struggled against Winnipeg, in terms of Hamilton, the team that couldn't beat them in the Grey Cup, and BC, the team that couldn't get to the Grey Cup, against each other in the Grey Cup final, would be one hell of a storyline. I'm going Lions.
So, just to recap a few things that you had just mentioned. So, the last about how you said that Winnipeg has been a thorn in BC's paw. So, last time BC actually won a Grey Cup was in 2011 against those same Bombers.
Yeah, so I'm talking about. Yeah, but I'm talking about this core.
No, I get that. So You got to remember, it's been 14 years since BC has made it to the Grey Cup. Then Saskatchewan, it's been 11 years since they've made it to the Grey Cup.
Someone's getting back there, yeah.
Someone's getting back there. I really want to pick BC, but I have to go with my
your gut
pick. No, I'm not going with my gut. I've already sent my Grey Cup prediction.
Oh, I have too. I sent mine after we did the East because I knew I was picking BC.
Oh no, I sent mine when they said what's your Grey Cup prediction, and I was sticking to my gun. And I have to go with because I picked Hamilton last night. I'm taking Sask in the West, and it's going to be a Sask-Hamilton Grey Cup with a CFL upset in the Grey Cup.
You have no idea how hard I would wear that jersey. Rick, you ain't going to see me. You would have never seen me in so much Tie-Cat gear in your whole life.
That's okay. If it makes you feel better, I got one of these.
There you go. For the W. So I'm taking the Lions. You're taking the Riders. So... for the first time in the playoffs, we have, for the first time in this year's playoffs, our picks are different on a game, as we've aligned in every game up until now.
The question is, did he... Oh, he didn't update the standings. God damn it. Jeremy, come on. I wanted to see what the standings were going into the playoffs. Like, going into, this round of playoffs. But that being said, anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I think the only other things I'd say is two things. Firstly,
if they're the same things I'm thinking of,
we are going to be live streaming this Saturday.
Okay.
And so make sure you guys tune into that. I will be live streaming, potentially solo, potentially with somebody else if somebody wants to join up for it. The East Final, which will be at 2 o'clock, which I should be able to... I have a beer league game at noon that day. I should be able to be there for the start of that. Worst case scenario, the live stream starts a couple minutes late, but it will be happening regardless. And then...
I might have to do some sideline reporting for that game.
And I might need some sideline reporting from Rick from the East final between the Alouettes and the Ticats. But then we will be live streaming later that day the BC Lions versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And I will be starting that solo. But then, Rick, once you get home from Hamilton Stadium, I imagine you'll be joining up for the West final to see who will be facing either the Alouettes or the Ticats in the 112th Grey Cup, which I will be at. So lots of exciting stuff here, and I think that's about it. The only other thing I have to say is, again, we have that wonderful Discord now for the channel.
Yes.
And a lot of conversation going on there, a lot of good CFL talk. Rick's always up to date with all the depth charts, all the news, all the articles, all the pick'ems, everything you could possibly need. It's all in there. You don't have to search on Twitter, 3Down Nation. It'll all be put in there for your own convenience. In addition to all the wonderful chats that you can have with all the guys. So if you haven't joined the Discord, join it. Link in the description below. And peace, love, and positivity, all you wonderful people at home. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video, share it around, and subscribe.
Before you finish, we are not Carter, myself, on Sunday afternoon, I am going to be doing a replay of the OUA playoffs from Saturday on
U Sports.
U Sports.
Which may be happening on either Hamilton Sports Central or Canadian Football Central. Regardless of which channel it happens on, it'll be posted in the Discord. So if you're in the Discord, you'll see it there. And yeah, so
that's all I want. That was all I was gonna throw out there.
We're gonna have all those live streams, but we'll be promoting it. So peace, love, and positivity, all you wonderful people at home. We will see you guys next time.